What's up, everybody? It's Trip with Saying and Such here on YouTube. You know that crazy guy who makes the kayak camping videos? Well, here I am answering some of your questions. Now, I have a lot of people ask me, so Trip, so what do you wear when you go kayak camping and it's like cold, and how do you stay dry? Because you guys have seen me in some sticky situations where it's been cold and rainy, and I've been somewhat comfortable. Actually, pretty comfortable. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys how I stay comfortable, what I bring, what I don't bring, and just give y'all some tips when you're planning your next outdoor adventure. Mosquitoes are biting me. Alright, first I'm going to start out with one rule. Just one rule is no cotton. Don't bring a stitch of cotton with you, or I don't at least, because cotton, really and truly, for the outdoors, is a pretty poor fabric. Now, hold on. Now, let me explain why. First off, cotton takes a long time to dry. And cotton's thermal properties, when it gets wet, they're just horrible. You will freeze to death if it's cool outside and you're wearing a wet cotton shirt, or, good gracious, or a bat just flew by me. Actually, it was a yellow jacket. But, you know, if you're wearing a cotton shirt or cotton pants and they get wet, you're going to freeze to death. Now, another thing I like to focus on is using thin layers. I know you've heard that, and I'm going to kind of elaborate why. Like, not only does it make your wardrobe adjustable, but let's say, like when you're out kayak camping, you're doing something where you can get wet. Let's say you do get wet. Well, alright, whenever you have something that's thin, it dries faster. So, like, you know, it's better to, or it's a lot easier to try and dry a thin fleece and a thin shirt than it is to dry a thick jacket. Does that make sense? So when you have those thin layers, if you do get wet, you can dry out a little faster. And like I said, when you use thin layers, you know, your wardrobe is adjustable. In the morning it can be really cold, so you'll have on all your layers. Then as the day goes on, you can shed a layer here, shed a layer there, and you know, you can keep up with the warming temperatures. And as it gets later in the evening, you can just put on a layer, and you can always stay cold. Because one thing you try to want to avoid is sweating, because you know, when you're sweating, you're wet, and you'll get a little bit cooler whenever you're sweating. And when it's cold outside, you don't want that. So what I've done, I've packed up some clothes that I'm going to bring with me actually this coming weekend if it warms up. It's like, I don't know, it's like the high's like 80 something today in South Alabama on November the 7th. Yeah, we have crazy weather down here. Like 3 weeks ago on my last trip, if you can catch that video, it was freezing cold. Not freezing cold, it was cool. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys what I would bring with me on a cool weather or cold weather kayak camping trip. Now, I like to keep my clothes, of course, in a dry bag, duh. But this right here is a clear dry bag by Seal Line. This is the 10-liter version. And I like using the clear bag because you can actually see in it. You can see which clothes you're going there to reach in and grab, so that you don't always have to just empty the entire bag to get to the piece of clothes that you're looking for. The piece of clothes, you know, to get to the piece of clothing that you're looking for. All right, now I'm going to start with the base layer, which of course is going to be your underwear. Now, I don't usually show my underwear on YouTube, but for this I'll make a special exception just for you. So anyways, what I've got, I have some like polyester stretchy underwear, like some boxer briefs. These are like some Reeboks, basically like kind of like an Under Armour material. So I'll usually bring a couple of those, you know, because these are pretty nice. You know, like I said, when it's the polyester or when it's not cotton, it can dry pretty quickly. So you can wash these out and, you know, wash one out each day and, you know, wear it that evening, put it on before you go to bed. You know, you can kind of keep them clean because they might get dirty. All right, now socks. All right, a great brand you need to know about. It's called Smart Wool. I love Smart Wool. Kind of expensive socks. Like, I don't know, they start at like maybe like 12 bucks for a pair of socks, but they are sweet. They're sweet. I've had this pair of Smart Wool for probably like 5 or 6 years, and at first when I first got them, I didn't wear them very much because I loved them. I didn't want to wear them out, but now I started wearing them as I got a couple more pairs. I've got like 3 pairs now. But you know, I wear them more often, and these suckers are holding up incredibly. I mean, but anyways, they're really good socks. Smart Wool, they'll dry fast, they'll keep you warm when you're wet. Very important if you accidentally get your feet wet. So I usually keep a pair of these to wear during the day when I'm paddling, and I also have another pair of just some polyester socks. These are actually Under Armour socks that I'll wear when I'm sleeping. Alright, so after that comes my base layer. Now, what I've got here is just a cheap base layer that I got, or a cheap brand that I got from TJ Maxx actually. This is 8 brand. It's just the number 8 is their logo. Basically what it is, it's just some, you know, polyester stretch, like compression type thermal underwear. Now I usually bring 2 sets of this if it's gonna be pretty chilly. 1 set to sleep in only, and 1 set to, you know, when I'm not sleeping, like if I'm paddling or if it's, you know, I'm wearing it around camp. I always do this because I like to be clean when I sleep, so I always put on my clean sleeping pair when I go to sleep. But basically it's just a thermal underwear. These have the turtleneck, which keeps you extra warm, and it's just the compression type. I've got the long sleeve shirt, and I have the pants as well. And you know, they make different thicknesses of these two, or yeah, I guess you could say thicknesses. You know, the thicker, the warmer. And I do have like 1 set that's a little bit thicker. If it's really cold, I'll bring that. All right, and then also as a base layer, I have this sleeveless. This is a Nike Pro, you know, just like a dry fit compression shirt that I'll wear when I'm paddling. You know, because when I'm wearing my life vest, you know, I like to wear it underneath so it stops me from chafing, and it dries fast. I'm usually sweating when I'm paddling, no matter how cold it is. Generally, if I'm not shedding layers fast enough. But you can shed layers fast enough where you can always stay kind of cool. That's what I like to try to do. All right. So on top of that, I bring just some sort of a t-shirt. It's just a polyester t-shirt. This is a Columbia here, but I have lots of other ones. You know, like you can get them at Old Navy or wherever, just some cheap polyester t-shirts that dry fast. And I also have a long sleeve polyester shirt that is a little bit looser than the compression. So I'll wear this on top of my thermal underwear. Okay, and now we go to the next layer down on the bottom. So we've got my thermal underwear, then I have pants. Now, I really like pants. Well, I like shorts better than pants, but I really like a good pair of pants. Now these right here are some North Face convertible pants. They have the zipper where you can take you can convert them into shorts. I don't really care for those too much. I have a pair, but what I really like are just the solid regular pants. And these right here are like stretchy pants. They have some, what's that stuff called that stretches that Eddie Murphy talked about in Nutty Professor? Spandex. Sorry, that's how I jog my memory sometimes. But so these are like stretchy pants. They're stretchy. It's a stretchy fabric. It's like a 4-way stretch, and you just have incredible maneuverability when you're wearing these. But these right here are Columbias. They are the Omni shade. I really don't know what they're called, but they have elastane in them, which makes them stretchy. Now, if you guys have never owned a pair of stretchy pants, get you a pair of stretchy pants. It's like wearing pajamas, and they're sweet, man. They're so sweet. But anyways, I'll wear these pants, and you know, if you spend money on a decent pair of pants, you know, a lot of these have like some water repellent properties where the water actually beat up on it and it won't soak into it. And that's what these have. I don't know what it's called, but it's pretty sweet when it does that, because your pants are going to get wet and you don't want them to stay wet. But those will dry pretty quickly if they do get wet. Alright, my next layer would be, we're going back up to my torso. I always bring a nice fleece with me. Now, a fleece is good for, you know, to keep you warm when it's not windy out. If it's windy out, the wind's going to cut right to the fleece and you're not going to be very warm. So if you bring fleece, you need to bring, which you always need to bring, a windbreaker layer. which I just use my raincoat as a windbreaker layer. But anyways, this is just a really thin micro fleece shirt, turtleneck. You know, got the little 3/4 zip. But you know, you can get a cheap one of these, and it'll work just fine. Now, fleece is great because it dries really fast, and really, even if it's wet, just like most all this fabric, if it's wet, it'll still keep you warm, which is great. But always try to stay dry. So if it gets really cold out, I'll put the fleece on, either over my thermals or over the thermal and my other shirt, and then I'll put my windbreaker layer over this. Now, I don't have my windbreaker layer with me today because my wife borrowed it. She went out of town this weekend, so I don't have it with me. But what I use is I have a Mountain Hardwear jacket, rain jacket, and basically it's a breathable fabric. It's supposed to be like 100% waterproof, but they're really not. Actually, it's just a waterproof fabric. But whenever you have a breathable fabric, they're never really 100% waterproof, I've found. So you have to always be prepared to get wet. Because in one of my trips, it rained on me for like a day or like 2 days. I don't know, it rained on me for a long time, and I got really wet. Well, actually, no, I didn't get really wet, but I got rained on a lot, and that jacket, eventually the water just soaked through it. So really, it was just there as an insulating layer and as a windbreaker layer, which is what I wanted. And I kind of expected to get wet. So, and something else that I always like to carry is a vest. Now, I really love this vest. This is a Mountain Hardwear vest. It has the Windstopper I don't know, name thrown to it, because it's like a fleece, but it stops the wind as well. And it's really pretty thin, but this sucker is warm. And you know, a vest just keeps your core warm. You keep your core warm and you're paddling and stuff, your arms are gonna stay pretty warm. So this is just an awesome vest that I always bring. It's great to wear around camp, or even when I'm paddling if it's not super cold. All right, so next we're gonna go to kind of some accessories that I bring. Here is a toboggan. This is a Mountain Hardwear, I think it's like a Windstopper something toboggan. Joker's warm. Now I wear this if it's cold outside, of course, I'll wear it, and windy, because it'll come down over my ears, so you can see. It comes down over my ears and pretty low on the back of my neck, so it keeps me warm. And I'll sleep in this as well, because you know, whenever you're sleeping, you gotta keep your head warm. Unless you want to be all up in your mummy bag, which I don't really enjoy all the time, but I do. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, and then some gloves. Now, to be honest with you, I haven't had to use the gloves while I was paddling. I have wished I had gloves last time, but I didn't bring these because I didn't think it was going to be that cold. But basically what I have for gloves are just some fleece gloves. And these are the kind with the fingers cut out. These are just some hunting gloves. I need some new gloves, but these will work for right now. But these had the fingers cut out, and then it has the mitten portion that you can kind of flip over your fingers. So I'm gonna give these a shot. I plan on, or I hope to get some new gloves sometime. I really haven't done, I mean, actually I've done research, but I don't really know which gloves I need, to be honest with you. So I'm still hunting some good gloves. So if you know any, let me know. But I might have found some by the time you're watching this video, so check it out, it'll be linked somewhere. Check out that video. All right, another very important piece of gear when it's cold outside are footwear. Now, these right here are some Salomon, whatever you want to call them. Basically, these are some waterproof hiking shoes. They're Gore-Tex, and I've worn these on a few trips, and my feet have stayed perfectly dry as long as the water didn't go up over the side. But if you're careful, you won't do that. But you know, of course, you know, like getting in and out of the kayak, you can get in some shallow water, or going down to the edge of the river to wash something out. You know, these suckers stay dry. So I really like these. So get you a pair of waterproof shoes. Now, a lot of people wear like the dive booties or some sort of neoprene booties. Well, I haven't had the need to buy those because I try to stay pretty much dry. We'll go a little more in detail on that here in a little bit. Oh yeah, also on my head, I'll always bring a sun hat, because even though it's cold, you need a sun hat to keep the sun off of you so you don't get skin cancer, right? Everybody needs that, right? All right, now a little bit of theory. All right, Trip, so you have all these clothes. Now, you just bring one set, you bring 2 sets, 3 sets, what do? Well, I already explained to you about the underwear. I'll bring 2 or 3 sets of underwear. It's small, so it doesn't take a lot of space. A lot of times I just bring 3 pairs, a pair for each day, so I don't have to wash it. But if space was an issue, just bring 2, wash 1 every day, okay? All right, I told you the thermals, I bring 2 pair. Now the reason, and 1 for paddling, 1 for camp. No, scratch that. 1 for paddling and camp, 1 for sleeping. All right, and I do this, and I bring 2 pairs of pants as well. 1 for paddling, 1 for camp. The reason I do that is because, okay, what if I flip over while I'm paddling? Well, I need a dry pair to wear at camp. All right, well, what if I flip over paddling and I want a dry pair of pants to wear for the second half of the day? Don't get your camp pants, because what if you flip over again and you wet those pants? Then you have 2 wet pairs of pants and you're gonna be freezing, okay? So if you flip over, wet your pants, oh well. Pull over, dry them, or if you wanna keep going, you gotta wear your wet pants. But the great thing about a sit inside kayak, check out my video about sit inside versus sit on top, is that most of the time, inside stays pretty warm no matter how cold it is outside, so don't have to worry about that. All right, now rain pants. Trip, why don't you bring rain pants? Well, I'm in a sit inside kayak. That's why. Because most of the time, or actually all the time, in a sit inside kayak, if it's raining outside, I'll have my skirt on, which keeps the inside of the kayak pretty much dry. Not 100% dry, because you'll get some condensation in there, and you know, you'll get a little bit wet. But if you're wearing these materials, these synthetic materials, you don't have to worry about getting wet so much. You'll still be warm, especially when you're inside the sit inside kayak, because it cuts the wind, and it really just kind of, it's like a little oven in there, and you stay pretty warm. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised, which is the reason why it kind of sweats. So I don't use rain pants, and because at camp, you know, I'll be under my tarp, or I'll be standing up or something, and I'm not really worried about getting my pants too awfully wet, because I know I've always got a dry something to change into when I go to bed. Okay, so I will be warm. I will be warm somehow. What about shirts, Trip? How many shirts do you bring? Well, I usually bring, I'll probably bring maybe like 2 short sleeve shirts and 1 long sleeve shirt. And the 2 sets of thermal shirts. Now, if I get wet, which is always a possibility, I always have this fleece. And fleece, you guys can try this, but fleece, you can dry really quick. You can like squeeze it out and open it up, and it's almost like pretty much dry. So if you're worried about staying cold when you're dry, you got this fleece, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. You know, at least till you change into your dry sleeping clothes, sleeping thermals, which you always have dry, because they're always in a separate dry bag than the rest of your clothes. Yeah, see, that's something I do as well. I'll keep my sleeping stuff separate, so it's not in there with my wet camp clothes or my wet whatever clothes. So keep those things separate, because they always need to be dry. So in case the worst case scenario happens and you're wet and you're freezing, you got something to change into, okay? All right, so yeah, I will bring a couple pairs of shirts. Not a couple pairs, I'll bring a few shirts. Socks, I usually bring 1 pair of sleep socks and maybe 2 pairs, yeah, usually 2 pairs of like regular like paddling socks or camp socks. If you're looking for a good rain jacket, here's some things to consider. A nice breathable fabric is good, I guess. You're gonna get wet. It's either a breathable fabric or 100% waterproof fabric. Whenever you wear the 100% waterproof fabric, it's also airproof, so air doesn't move out of it, so you'll sweat. Really, no matter how cold it is, you're gonna sweat. So it's kind of a, you know, coin flip there. It doesn't really matter which one you're gonna get. You're probably gonna get damp, whether from the sweat or from a little bit of water just permeating through it, if it is like a long rainy day, like all day long. But I would probably go for the breathable fabric. Now also, it's good to look for a jacket that has some ventilation. Like some pit zips are nice, so that you can kind of unzip those if you do start to get extra hot in there. And also a good hood. You know, you want a hood that's big enough to go around your toboggan or whatever, and also that you can kind of cinch down and, you know, with a drawstring. And mine, it has like a little bill built into it. I like that, because I don't really wear a cap much. I don't know. I don't really have one to wear, so I don't bring one. I mean, I have a cap, just not a cap that's not cotton. That's the problem I have, so that's why I don't bring a cap. Maybe if I had one, I might try it. It'd probably be good in hot weather more than cold weather. I don't know, but I like a sun hat so much that that's why I don't have one. Anyways. Now wait a minute, Trip. You're telling me you don't wear a wetsuit or a dry suit when it's cold? No, sure don't. And here's a little bit why. Alright, wetsuit. Not very comfortable being wet all day long if you're paddling, in my opinion. You know, I've been diving, cave diving, blah blah blah, and worn a wetsuit, and good gracious, I don't want to wear that thing all day long. Now, a dry suit, expensive, okay, and prone to leaks and things like that. Well, I don't want a dry suit. And you're in there, and you're probably sweating like a pig when you're in that dry suit. So, now I'm in the southeastern United States. It's not really cold. I'm not like paddling around icebergs and things like that. So, you know, I don't really need a dry suit. And what I wear does just fine for me. Now see, whenever I go paddling, I don't get soaked. I don't flip over often, knock on wood. Actually, I haven't ever flipped over on purpose. I did one time. Check it out. You know, I've always wondered what would happen if I did this. But yeah, I haven't ever really flipped over and got wet yet. I'm sure it'll happen sometime. You better be watching that video when it happens, because it's going to be pretty fun for you. Probably fun for me. I haven't really had to deal with getting super wet. And since it hasn't happened to me yet, I don't expect to have to deal with it often enough to warrant getting a dry suit. So that's why I don't have a dry suit or a wetsuit. Now when it rains, I stay pretty dry. You know, my legs stay dry like I said. I'm inside Kayak, and my rain jacket keeps me fairly dry. It keeps me warm. That's what I'm after. I'm after being warm more than being dry, because I'm never gonna get soaking wet, but you know, I'll always be warm because these materials will keep you warm. All this fleece and stuff will keep you warm even if you're cold. And really and truly, I don't ever expect to be drenched. If I am drenched, I'll pull over, put up my tarp, start a fire, or change into my clothes and into my dry sleep clothes, and jump in my sleeping bag in my hammock. No big deal. If you're in a sit on top kayak, okay, you may want to get you a dry suit, or you may want to get you a wetsuit, because you're almost always going to be wet. Your legs are always going to be wet because you're going to be sitting in water, and the water from your paddle is going to be getting all over your legs, and just splashes going to get on your legs and things like that. So either get you a wetsuit, dry suit, or get you a get you a sit inside kayak, or I wouldn't suggest going on a cold weather trip on a sit on top kayak. Anyways, it just can't be that much fun. It really can't be. Because I don't want to wear a dry suit. I don't want to wear a wetsuit. I don't want to be soaking wet. I don't want to be sitting in my butt in a puddle of water all the time. Whew, debate for another time. Check out that video. Well, that's about all I've got. Now, I'm sure I probably missed a few things, so if you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section. I answer pretty much every one of the comments that I get. How awesome am I, right? Pretty awesome. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, thanks for watching. Hey, check out me putting my theory to use. I make some really fun, really entertaining kayak camping videos, and I have fun. You know, I try to make my videos informative and entertaining, like I hope this one was. And so go check out my kayak camping videos. They're so much fun, y'all. They really are. And I really enjoy your comments and all the talking and discussing and cutting up that we do. I would like to give a real quick shout out to my newest Patreon, Daryl. Hey man, thank you for your support. And hey, if you haven't done it yet, go check out my Patreon page and consider helping support this channel. Check us out on Facebook too, Twitter and Instagram. Instagram, you can kind of see what my normal life's like outside of YouTube. You know, I'm a general contractor, so I get into some fun, kind of crazy stuff every once in a while. But hey, check me out there. Like, share this video, and hey, don't go out and buy all this stuff all at once. Do it little by little and kind of learn what you want, what you need, what is good for you, because you don't want to make the mistake going out and just spending, I don't know, a lot of money on things you don't want. Oh, and a little tip, you can get some good stuff, let me go ahead and tell you, off of eBay. These awesome pants, eBay. What else is eBay? I don't know, I've got a bunch of stuff in the house, eBay. Some really good Columbia, Mountain Hardware, North Face, eBay stuff. eBay, get it off eBay. It's cheap. Unless you're size 32 pants. You don't need to go there, that's my size. I'm just kidding. But hey, seriously, hey, go check out my YouTube channel, Setting and Such. Subscribe, comment, like, share these videos. I like interacting with you guys. And hey, thank you all for watching. And I hope to see you in my next adventure, which is going to be next weekend. We're going to be finishing the P River like we did 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. So check it out. Be excited. And I hope it's not going to be freaking hot like it is now. It's so hot now. I'm sweating out here getting bit by mosquitoes trying to make a video for you guys. I love you guys. But hey, thanks for watching. God bless.